Ladies and gentlemen, these words I'm about to say don't even seem real. They still might not be real. But some way, somehow, Hollow Knight Silksong is finally out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem real. And in this video, we'll be talking about the Switch 2 version, and this will be my review as well as just my thoughts on the game as a diehard Hollow Knight fan. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. That's right, some way, somehow, we're here. Hollow Knight Silksong is finally out. I feel like I shouldn't be saying those words. They feel illegal to say. But the game is out, and I've been playing it, and this is going to be my review as well as my thoughts. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our amazing communities growing. And as always, consider becoming a channel member because that is the ultimate way to support this community. Now, let's talk about this game. Whenever I do reviews, I always like to do the history of whatever game it is. So we're going to go back to 2014. That is when Team Cherry was founded, at least from the information I can find online. Now here's a fact I found online, so I don't know how true it is, but the way Team Cherry was founded is they all came together to play games and over their love of Zelda 2. As we all know, Hollow Knight came out in 2017, and then Hollow Knight Silksong came out in 2025. One of the first videos I ever made towards a dedicated game, I think, was for Hollow Knight. I just stumbled across the game. I didn't know about the hype about it. I just bought it on an eShop sale, and I had to talk about it. So it's funny, you know, like looking back, how much the game meant to me then. So I've been playing Hollow Knight Silksong on the Switch 2, and I gotta say, from the very first moments, it looks absolutely beautiful. But I will say, if you are playing it on the Switch, I don't think there's that big of a difference. I know there's like 120 frames per second mode or something on the Switch 2. I'm playing a handheld, so, you know, I don't think I will see that big of a difference, but if you're playing it on the Switch, I don't want you to think you're missing out on much. One thing that I knew about Hollow Knight, the original one, is on the PC, I heard there was like more physics, more kind of movements and animation, or at least I read that. So on the Switch, we didn't get that. But now the Switch 2 having more power, man, that's one of the first things I actually noticed is the actual physics and movements. And it just seems like all those really small details are adding up and you really do notice them. So that will translate into the gameplay and the platforming. And I felt like I was playing a Metroidvania when I was playing Hollow Knight, right? That's what it is. That's what Hollow Knight Silksong is as well. But I actually think the platforming is a main mechanic in Hollow Knight Silksong. And it's fun to like time to do all these little flips and you have to bounce off these things. I don't even know what the hell they are. So the platforming really is above and beyond over the original game. And I think it's a main focal point. At least I think Team Cherry was trying to make it a main focal point. I mean, let's just be real here. It is essentially just more Hollow Knight. And that does make sense because this game originally started as DLC. So if you like the first game, there's a good chance you're going to like this game. I have had probably 5 or 6 people message me on Instagram saying, do you recommend this game? Should I buy this game? Because I knew I was pretty hyped for it. And everybody has a different answer. Some people I'm telling no, some people I'm saying sure. Because if you never played the first game, I wouldn't recommend this game. I just wouldn't. And if you have played the first game but you didn't like it, again, this one, even though, you know, the hype is so crazy around it, you're not magically gonna like this one. One thing that I fell in love with in the original game is the atmosphere, the ambiance, like the world building. And in this game, like from the very first moments, I don't know how they do what they do, but it is like world-class world building. It sets this tone and this feeling, and it actually encourages you, like by emotion, to make you want to go and explore. And you're not really so much looking for something as you are feelings. Sometimes you'll go to a different area and you feel like some whimsical stuff going on. Sometimes you feel dread. Sometimes you're just curious. Sometimes there's a big ass boss fight, you know what I mean? So you're just looking for those experiences. And this game captures that perfectly. I should know the exact number, but I think in the original Hollow Knight game there was like 20 something enemies, and in this one there's more than double that. I know there's an exact number out there. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, the enemy variety is crazy. So many different enemies. They're fun. A lot of them are frustrating, but it is cool to see each unique enemy based on like what part of the game you're in. So I'll be honest, the game feels way easier than the first game. The first 20 minutes in the game, I was like, man, this is just so easy. Maybe because I've beat Hollow Knight twice, you know? Maybe I'm just fresh from that and I still have all the timing down and I'm just good at the game. Maybe it's just an easy game. Yeah, that's what I would have said if I didn't continue to play this game. The first 20 minutes of the game, sure. That's all I can say, sure. This is one of the most difficult games I have ever played in my life. Even simple enemies do like 2 hits of damage. When you first start off, you have like 5 hits of damage. Simple enemies do too. Environmental damage is bad. Don't get me started on the bosses or the mini bosses or just everything. And I'll be honest with you guys, even though I think that is a core part of Hollow Knight now, I do think maybe you could just say, get good, get better at the game. I do think Team Cherry made the game a little too difficult. And I could see them patching some of this in future updates, like buffing some stuff. I think they took the hype around the first game, knowing that it was a difficult game, and they thought, well, since we're known for having a pretty hard game, let's make the game even harder. And I also have a theory that since Silksong was DLC for the first game, it makes sense for it to be harder than the first game because it was continuance of it. But there are some things that I think are just too difficult or too high powered for kind of no reason. Sometimes you'll fight a boss that is just way too powerful. You get past it, there's no real reward there. If I'm being honest, I don't know if it's a real complaint yet, but I do think they got carried away a little bit on the difficulty of the game. So I mean, if I can just simplify everything, right? This doesn't need to be some big drawn out video. If you like the first game, you're gonna like this game. If you didn't like the first game, you're not gonna like this game. If you never played the first game, I would skip this game. I think it's amazing they made it only $20, but the game is always gonna be $20. I've seen a lot of people buying this game online or talking about it online, that they're buying it because of the hype or maybe because of FOMO. The game is always gonna be $20. So if you have $20 to spend now, there's a good chance you'll have it to spend in 6 months or a year. Just chill, maybe play the first game first, maybe watch some gameplay, because I have read some people that bought this game, played 30 minutes and are like, it's not for me. And yeah, this is one of those games that it's probably the most anticipated indie game of all time. It has incredible range of hype, but that doesn't mean it's for everyone. And that's okay, you know, not every game is for everyone. And this is my best advice over this game. Hollow Knight I could not put down. The first time I maybe beat it in like 20 something hours. The second time I think I took my time and explored more. This game I thought I was gonna play straight through and finish it. Maybe finish it in a week or whatever. But after playing it for maybe 6 or 7 hours, I've changed my opinion. I'm gonna take my time on this game because I could see people getting burnt out on the difficulty, or maybe it's just a little overwhelming right now. So I'm gonna take my time with it. I'm enjoying myself. There's no need to rush to beat this. When it's done, it's done. You know what I mean? So play a couple hours here and there. If it gets too difficult, I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna come back to it later. So that would be my best advice, to take your time with this game. But all that being said, it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Yes, it's a little difficult, but that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? It's very rare that a game or a sequel to a game that has this much hype and we waited this long for delivers. This is one of those moments where they delivered. They exceeded my expectations. I think they said they have plans for DLC, so yeah, man, they did a great job. So that was my confusing review as well as my thoughts on the game. And that's all I have to say about this. As always, in the comments below, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you picked it up, if you're thinking about picking it up, if you played the first game, just start a conversation. And if you made it all the way to this part of the video, do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep the communities growing, and consider becoming a channel member. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.